We're going through dynamics of competitive strategy. What was the last slide we covered?
28, sir.
28.
20.
20.
Sir.
Okay. So let me share the slides with you now. Can we confirm if you're able to see the screen? Okay. So we have covered up to slide 20, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's move on. Managing linkages. So we were discussing about the value added linkages, how to manage your linkages and how core competencies will help you to manage your linkages in regard to strategic management. So first of all, we need to understand the core competencies in separate activities. We discussed about inbound logistics, we discussed about outbound logistics and all that. So each of this has to be managed properly. So core competencies in separate activities may provide competitive advantage for an organization. So for example, let us say the core competency for Amazon. I was reading somewhere that they have a huge warehouse facility across the globe and it's all automated. It's all automated. So the core competency for Amazon is its management of its stock, which no other competitor is able to come near it. So core competency in separate activities may provide the advantage for an organization, but nevertheless over time may be limited or imitated by competitors. So Amazon is doing very well now. They have one of the best facilities across the world, but somebody may try to imitate it to a certain extent possibly, but not completely. So if you're going to have a competitive advantage of all the storage facility and electronically connected every storage or warehouse is electronically connected, you know where stock is and all that, then you are going to be ahead of competition. So similarly, core competencies are likely to be more robust and difficult to imitate if they relate to management of linkages with the organization's value chain and linkages into supply and distribution chains. So if you're going to have a core competency in the form of supply and distribution chains and you're going to add value to your business, it's very difficult for a competitor to imitate your success formula. So then that becomes your core competency. The core competency, again and repeat, is something which you as a business person has got, which no other competitor has got. And it is the management of these linkages which provides leverage and levels of performance which are difficult to match. So no competitor will be able to match with you if you are able to manage your linkages better, and that becomes your core competency. Are you able to follow me or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any doubt? Okay, shall we proceed? The management of linkages, internal linkages in the value chain could create competitive advantage in a number of ways. One is there may be important linkages between the primary activities. So the primary activities, whatever we discussed, linkage has to be properly established, and it is easy to miss the issue of managing linkages between primary activities in an analysis. So you need to bear in mind that you should not miss the value chain analysis பண்ணும்போது இந்த linkages எப்படி manage பண்ணுங்கிறத கரெக்டா பார்த்துக்கணும். Otherwise, if you miss it, you may lose an opportunity. And the management of the linkages between primary activity and support activity may be the basis of a core competence. Okay. And it may be key investment in systems or infrastructure, which provides a basis on which the company outperforms competitors. So as we are discussing about a lot of examples, Hindustan Unilever has got a core competency in managing its inventory. In fact, when I was working there, we worked on a project of zero inventory levels. So that is the basis on which Hindustan Unilever operates. They don't maintain huge stock levels. So the logistics becomes easier. Just in time concept we discussed. So they have tie-up with various other third-party service providers, manufacturers, just in time, where they'll supply the materials in time only, and there is no stock. Once the material comes, it goes for production. So you don't maintain any level of stock. Once finished goods are over, it is sent out to your distributor or C&F agent. So this is how they are managing their stock levels. Almost nil inventory. So that helps you to manage your working capital better. So you need to know how to manage your primary activity and support activity, and that will enable you to add value to the business. Linkages between different support activities may also be the basis for core competency. So we discussed in the last graph. Hope I'll just show it once again to you. This particular chart. You remember this chart? This is what we discussed about primary activities. This is what we discussed about support activities. So support activities covers, as I just now told you, firm infrastructure, large warehouses, human resource management, manpower, technology, R&D, procurement. These are all your support activities. And this is you add your value, so you get profits. And your primary activities are here. You learn inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales and service. 1 minute. No. இது நான் லிங்க் அனுப்பிச்சேன் எல்லாரும் ஜாயின் பண்றாங்களே எக்ஸிட் பாயிட்டு திருப்பி ஜாயின் பண்ணி பாரு ஆமா இன்னைக்கு வெப்எக்ஸ் நான் மாடிஃபை பண்ணி நான் அனுப்பிச்சிருக்கேன் இப்போ ஜஸ்ட் எக்ஸிட் ஆயிட்டு திருப்பி ட்ரை பண்ணி பாரு So are you able to understand this chart? You remember this chart? Hello, am I audible to all of you? Kindly acknowledge.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is a very important chart where it's of Michael Porter's value chain chart, which gives you breakup of what are the various support activities and what are the various primary activities. However, the linkages are to be established, as I told you, between primary and support activities in the value chain, which will offer you the core competency. So I gave you examples about Amazon, I gave you examples about Hindustan Unilever, I gave you example in the last class about 3M, where technology is there, and all that is becoming your support activity. And if you're able to manage these primary activities with the help of these support activities, then you add a lot of value to the business. That is, you make good profits. That's the whole point. Okay, clear? So let's move on. The management of linkages in the value chains could create competitive advantage in a number of ways. So as I just now told you, the important linkage between primary activities is very, very relevant. And I also told you about don't miss the linkages, and we discussed about support activities becomes the basis for core competence. Okay. Yeah. In addition to management of internal linkages, the competitive advantage may also be gained the ability to complement or coordinate the organization's own activities with those of suppliers, channels or customers. This is what I was telling you about Hindustan Unilever, where Hindustan Unilever were able to coordinate well with suppliers, with the distributors, and they ensured that there is no stock which is available in the system. Everything they produce, they send out immediately. They don't maintain any huge stock levels of inventory of raw material or finished goods. So how do they do that? Vertical integration attempts to improve performance through ownership of more parts of the value system, making more linkage internal to the organization. What is this vertical integration? In a business, you have vertical integration and you have something called horizontal integration. Vertical integration is, for example, if you are a producer of soap, you try to produce the raw material required for it, chemicals. Then there is a vertical integration. So when you are going to actually carry out all the activities relating to a product and what is referred to as a vertical integration, you will be able to improve your performance and you will be able to manage your linkages better and you will be able to add value. So I'll repeat this point. Vertical integration is something which will enable the business organization to improve its performance through owning major parts of the business. Not necessarily the finished goods, but I have told you the chemical or raw materials is required. You manufacture that also, and that enables you to add value in the process. Then within manufacturing industry, the competence in closely specifying requirements and controlling performance of suppliers can be critical to both quality enhancement and cost reduction. So in a manufacturing industry, whenever you are going to operate competently in all your primary and secondary systems, whatever we discuss now, and if you're able to control your performance of your suppliers, then you'll be able to provide good quality and also cost reduction. See, recently I have sent you a message that Surf Excel has become a billion crore turnover company. That is around 8,000 crores turnover from one product, which is Surf Excel. Is it good or bad? Hindustan Unilever, the turnover from one product, Surf Excel itself, is 8,200 crores in a year. Is it good or bad?
Extremely good, sir.
Extremely good. See, I am sure that you will now appreciate how managing these linkages is enabling it to produce and sell a product line, which is giving them a turnover of 8,200 crores, which is not a joke. A company's turnover itself, large company's turnover is 8,000 crores. This company's one product turnover is 8,000 crores. Clear?
Clear, sir.
So if you're able to manage the linkages better, you'll be able to offer quality enhancement and also cost reductions. Now coming to the next point, a more recent philosophy has been total quality management, TQM, very, very important. Most of the organizations are using this concept called TQM. Have you come across TQM? Have you heard of that? Have you heard of TQM?
No, sir.
No? Okay, I'll tell you what is TQM. I'll just share the board. Are you able to see the screen? Just a minute. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir. Clear,
Yeah.
sir.
Total quality management. Total quality management implies, shortly referred to as TQM. It is a very powerful concept which is oriented towards maintaining quality at all levels. That is, if I am a manufacturer, I have to offer quality, no doubt. But my supplier, my service provider, whoever I am associated with, I am a manufacturing company, I am associated with my supplier, I am associated with my service provider, and I am managing the quality at all levels. That's called total quality management. That is to be just giving an example. If you produce 1 lakh units, not even 1 unit should be bad. That is the level of quality. And if you want to maintain that level of quality, it is not sufficient if you only have a good manufacturing facility. Your supplier also should have a good quality manufacturing facility. Your vendor, your service provider, they all have to have a good manufacturing facility. Unless they have a quality oriented manufacturing facility, your supplier cannot give you a good quality. If the supplier doesn't give you a good quality, how will you maintain good quality? So the total quality management encompasses all the stakeholders, customers oriented. They always look for customers' feedback. They always look for customer, what is it they're expecting? That is what we normally call it as total quality management. Okay, are you clear? So the aspect of total quality management is something very, very important, which will enable the entity to improve its performance by closely working with the specialists within the value system. So you closely work with your suppliers, your service providers, whoever you are dealing with. And as I told you, this is not just one guy who is going to be responsible for quality. It is the entire stakeholders who are responsible for quality management, setting standards for all. So then you'll be able to offer quality, then the value will improve. So people will buy your product. So why buy? People still buy Surf Excel for 8,000 crores is because of the quality. Then if the quality of the product is so good, that means that they are ensuring it at every level, right from the raw material supplier until the time it reaches the customer. Customer போகும்போது கூட நீங்க கேர்ஃபுல்லா வச்சுக்கணும். Correct? The quality of the material should be intact, it should not be mishandled. All that is very, very important. So everybody is involved in the process of total quality management. So ultimately, customer is the key. So customer is going to define his requirements and you are going to offer him, and that is your job. So whatever expectations of the customer, you should fulfill. All of you are clear?
Clear, sir.
Any doubt?
Clear, sir.
Okay. Let's move on. Competitive advantage. Now, what is the competitive advantage of an entity? I'll just again come back to the PPT. Competitive advantage, I told you already. In any business, it is expected that you have a competitive advantage over your competition. How would you achieve it? How would you achieve competitive advantage? Competitive advantage allows a firm to gain an edge over rivals when competing. And it is a set of unique features of a company and its products that are perceived by the target market as significant and superior to the competition. So, if you have a competitive advantage, you will be able to win over your competition. And you'll be able to offer them products and services which they are very happy, superior to your competition. And competitive advantages and the differences they create in the firm's performance are often strongly related to the resources the firms hold and how they are managed. Resources and capabilities are not inherently valuable, but they create value when the firm can use them to perform certain activities that result in a competitive advantage. Now, again, I'll come back to competitive advantage. We discussed this in brief earlier also. A competitive advantage is going to offer you capabilities. And the capabilities comes to you through what? Tangible and intangible resources of the organization. Tangible resources will be physical, like assets, fixed assets, financial, like your reserves and profitability, and intangible could be your human skills, technology, and reputation. So all these resources are going to offer you capabilities, and these capabilities are going to offer you competitive advantage. So that's a very important point. So look at this wordings carefully. Competitive advantage and the differences they create in a firm's performance are often related to resources. Now, again, I'm taking the same Hindustan Lever example because I have worked there. I know that they have solid human skills, human capital, what we call it, and they have excellent R&D, and you know the reputation of the products. So this is an intangible resource for Hindustan Unilever, and they have tangible resources, physical assets and financial resources. With the help of these resources, they are able to ramp up their capabilities, and the capabilities are offering them the competitive advantage, and they are well ahead of competition. They are well ahead of competition. See, as I already told you, your competitor is equally tough. Your competitor is equally strong, but you need to still have an advantage over your competition through your resources and capabilities. Then you will be able to succeed in the market. Clear? Now, what are the different types of resources and capabilities we are talking about, which offers you competitive advantage? Tangible resources, as I already told you, it could be quantified, can be seen, your machinery, your production equipment. As I told you, I was in a tea factory where we were making this Taj Mahal tea bags. So we had an imported machine. So that is a tangible asset. That is offering us a capability to offer you a tea bag. Not every machine has the capability to produce a tea bag because it's a separate technology. So we had a machine with which we are able to produce tea bags, what we call dip teas. And what is the resource and capability it offers you? The capabilities exist when the resources have been purposefully integrated to achieve a specific task or a set of tasks. And these tasks range from human resource selection to product marketing and research and development activities. So where you're going to use your resources to build up your capabilities. And the capabilities, as we just now discussed, can facilitate your success. Intangible resources are also included. Like, what are those? Assets that typically are rooted deeply in the firm's history and have accumulated over time. The goodwill, what we call. Because they are embedded in unique patterns of routines, intangible resources are relatively difficult for competitors to analyze and imitate. For example, knowledge, trust between. Now, why do you think Tatas are number one? Why do you think Tatas are number one today in most of the business what they do? What is the single underlying factor? You can tell me that which makes Tata the bigger or one of the biggest players in the market. Almost they are number one or two in any business what they do. In fact, I don't know how many of you have heard of Jack Welch. Have you heard of Jack Welch? Have you heard of Jack Welch? Am I audible?
Yes,
No,
sir, audible, sir.
அப்பப்போ எல்லாரும் கொஞ்சம் குரல் கொடுத்தாதான் எனக்கு தெரியும். So, have you heard of Jack Welch? No?
No,
Now,
sir.
he is a very prominent business leader. He was a prominent business leader. He was actually handling General Electric, GE. You would have heard of this company called GE. General Electric. Now he's a very aggressive business leader. When he took over the business of this company called General Electric from his predecessor, he told that we should be only in those businesses which we are number one or number two. If you are not number one or number two, don't do that business. He brought a lot of radical changes in which he was doing business. And that made GS number one globally. In fact, later we have lessons for leadership. Leadership and strategic management. How they matter in business. So Tata's, what do you think is one of the important strengths they have, which makes them number one in many businesses? The words are here actually. The slide what I showed you. I'll share the slide once again. See the slide and tell me what is something which makes Tata's number one or number two in most of the businesses they are in. Look at this. Intangible resources for a business includes assets that typically are rooted deeply in the firm's history and have accumulated over a period of time. Because they are embedded in unique patterns of routines, intangible resources are relatively difficult for competitors to analyze and imitate. Example, knowledge, trust between managers and employees. So, Tataல என்ன இருக்கு நான் கேக்குறேன் உங்ககிட்ட.
I think trust.
Yeah, the word is here, trustworthiness, which is very, very important in any business, whatever you do. Trustworthiness. Okay. So knowledge and trust is very, very important. They have adequate manpower, human capital in Tata is also very, very good. And they also are trustworthy. What are the various examples given here? Effective use of logistics and management techniques, and effective and efficient control of inventories, and effective customer service, and innovative merchandising, product and design quality, and digital technology. So these are all the things which makes it intangible benefits. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So effective use of logistics and management techniques is very, very important. And we already discussed this. Hindustan Lever is doing a wonderful job in that. And effective and efficient control of inventories, I told you, zero stock levels almost. Effective customer service. How do you provide effective customer service? You provide effective customer service in the form of attending to customer complaints seriously. I think I told you an example. I don't remember. I think I told you. Still, I'll tell you once again. In case of Britannia, one of its very regular customer had a problem with the product. He used to always consume this rusk, Britannia rusk. Have you tried Britannia rusk?
Yes, sir.
Have you tried Britannia rusk?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So there is a person who is 60 plus or 70 plus age, and he has been regularly using the tea rusk, which he has along with the tea. Now he observed that the quality of this rusk is slowly going down because he is a very ardent customer, ardent fan of this rusk. So over a period of time, he was observing the quality of the rusk was falling down. He was not happy. Now what he did, he wrote a letter to this company, Britannia, saying that I am a consumer of your rusk for last so many years, but I somehow find the quality of this is dropping. Kindly take immediate steps to rectify it. You know what happened? The company immediately acknowledged the customer feedback, and they sent him a pack of all products of Britannia, like milk bikis, blah, 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 or pack panni, or a thank you letter porter, customer kanti vachanga. And the customer was so happy. Paravalla, nama sonna feedback eduthundu. They also sent me freebies. Avangaloda products are free anusanga. Do you think it's a good initiative by the company?
Definitely, sir. Regarding the
Definitely. So this is how you need to offer a quality service, which becomes like, part of your business, customer feedback, quality, offering quality, any issues, you handle it. Respond to the feedback of customers. You do that, then you are going to have the competitive advantage. You will be better than. So you should do your best because, as I said, your competition is also doing it. See, there are many examples which we can think of where you give customer something called customer delight. Customer satisfaction you would have heard of. What is customer delight?
Like a pleasure, sir, happiness.
No, how do you differentiate a customer satisfaction and a delight? Can you give an example?
Sir,
Customer is a satisfied customer satisfaction, customer delight, he's delighted, more than satisfaction.
yes, sir.
How can you make a customer delighted?
Beyond his expectations or something.
Huh?
Beyond the consumer's expectations.
Correct.
Sir.
Example, how do you do that? Example. How do you do that? Beyond expectations, you do something. Example.
Good after sales services.
Good after sales services. Possibly yes. Possibly yes. So you are happy with the product and any issue arising, you are giving for service or whatever, they are doing a wonderful job. That is customer delight. And beyond that, so ஒரு சாட்டிஸ்ஃபேக்ஷன் அப்படிங்கிறது ஒரு பாயிண்ட். அதுக்கு மேல போறது ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்றேன். இப்போ நீங்க ஒரு ரெஸ்டாரண்ட் போறீங்க, ஃபுட் சாப்பிடுறீங்க, யூ ஆர் வெரி ஹாப்பி, ஃபுட் இஸ் குட், குவாலிட்டி இஸ் குட், சர்வீஸ் இஸ் குட், எல்லாமே ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸா இருக்கு. அந்த ஃபுட் நீங்க முடிக்கும் போது they are coming and giving a scoop of ice cream and say sir this is complimentary. You are a regular customer, this is complimentary for you. So your family of 4 who have got that, they give you a scoop of ice cream free. Are you delighted or not? Will you be delighted or not?
Yes, sir, for sure.
This is what we call customer delight. More than a satisfaction, you are delighted. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Pooja, any doubts?
No, sir.
Suresh, any doubts?
No doubt so far, sir.
Bhupesh, any doubts?
காம்படிட்டிவ் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட்ல மட்டும் கொஞ்சம் டவுட் சார்.
சொல்லுங்க.
கொஞ்சம் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றீங்களா சார் ப்ளீஸ்?
காம்படிட்டிவ் மேனேஜ்மெண்டா? காம்படிட்டிவ் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் இல்ல, காம்படிட்டிவ் அட்வான்டேஜ்.
அட்வான்டேஜ், சாரி சார்.
நான் டவுட் கேட்டா நீ என்ன டவுட் கேக்குறியா? நான் கேட்க வேண்டியதானே? நடுவுல ஸ்டாப் பண்ணி சார் கொஞ்சம் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணுங்க சார் சொல்லலாம் இல்லையா? நீ என்னப்பா டவுட் இருக்கான்னு கேட்டா இப்ப சொல்றேன் நீ. நான் தான் கேட்டுட்டே இருக்கேன் எனி டவுட்ஸ். ஓகே, காம்படிட்டிவ் அட்வான்டேஜ் இஸ் சம்திங் which you have compared to your competition. That is, you are able to do better than your competition, then you have an advantage. இப்போ உங்க கிளாஸ்ல வந்து டெஸ்ட் எல்லாம் இருக்கு, ஸ்கூல் டேஸ்ல டெஸ்ட் வைக்கிறாங்க. உங்க ஃப்ரெண்டு தான் உங்களுக்கு காம்படிட்டர். நீங்க எப்பவுமே உங்களுக்கும் அவனுக்கு தான் ஃபைட், ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரேங்க்கு. ஒரு தடவை பூபேஷ் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரேங்க், ஒரு தடவை அவன் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரேங்க், ஒரு தடவை அப்படி மாறி மாறி வருது. நீ அவனை எப்படி பீட் பண்ணுவ? யூ நீட் டு ஹேவ் அ காம்படிட்டிவ் அட்வான்டேஜ். அந்த காம்படிட்டிவ் அட்வான்டேஜ் உங்கள்கிட்ட இருந்தா தான் உன்னுடைய ஃப்ரெண்டை பீட் பண்ணி எவ்ரி டைம் யூ கேன் கம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரேங்க். நீ என்ன பண்ணா எவ்ரி டைம் யூ கேன் கம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரேங்க்?
அவன் எப்படி அவனை விட பெட்டரா ஒர்க் பண்ணணும்னு நான் நினைப்பேன்.
அவனோட எப்படி பெட்டரா ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணி எப்படி ஒர்க் பண்ணுவேன், என்னெல்லாம் பண்ணுவேன்?
நான் என்னோட படிக்கிற டைமிங் ஷெட்யூல்ல கொஞ்சம் இப்போ நான் வந்து 5 hours படிக்கிறேன்னா இன்னொரு 2 hours எக்ஸ்ட்ரா படிப்பேன் அந்த மாதிரி.
ஓகே, so you will modify your pattern of studying, correct?
Yes,
okay.
yes,
So
sir.
similarly in a business, if you want to compete with your competitors, you need to have an advantage. It could be advantage in the form of consistent quality, customer service, or anything for that matter. I already told you a lot of examples. So this is how you need to manage the competition so that you have an advantage over your competitor. That is called competitive advantage.
Okay, super. Yes, yes, sir.
Any doubts? Janesh, any doubts?
No, sir. Clear, sir.
Yeah. Madhusudan. See, I am happy with you asking doubts, but when I'm discussing itself, you should tell, sir, I have a doubt. Please do that. நான் எதுக்கு இப்ப நான் உங்களை தனியா டவுட் இருக்கான்னு கேட்கறேன்னா அது வரைக்கும் பெண்டிங் வச்சுக்காதீங்க. கிளாஸ் எடுக்கும் போதே சார் ஐ ஹேவ் அ டவுட் ஸ்டாப் பண்ணுவோம். Doubt இருந்ததுன்னா அப்படியே
Clear, sir.
clarify.
Clear, sir.
Sagarika,
No doubt, sir.
Sanjay,
No doubts, sir.
okay. So kindly let me know, stop me if you have any doubts anywhere so that I can reach you. Now I'm going to ask each one of you, what are the various business developments over the last week? Each one of you should tell me. Okay, now let me start with Suresh. What are the business developments over the last 1 week or 2 weeks which you observed?
Sir, on 9th February, the government of India had found a lithium reserve, sir, in the district of Jammu and Kashmir.
The Indian government, what did they do?
Had found a lithium reserve in the
Ah,
districts
lithium
of
reserve.
Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay, good. So good. Lithium reserve. Very good. Any idea about the quantum of reserve?
It's 5.9 million ton reserve, sir.
Very good. So what is it used for, lithium?
Lithium is majorly used for phones, electronics, and majorly it will be used for electronic vehicles, sir. Like
Very good.
electronic
Very
car
good. Very
needs
good.
10 kilo of lithium battery.
So it is going to be advantageous to our country?
Definitely, sir, for sure.
Okay.
It
How
is
it is going to be advantageous to our country? How do you get advantage by having a lithium reserve?
Sir, like it offers, India had been depending on majorly imports, sir, for lithium. So since
Okay.
it is stored in India, we can use it as our own, sir, and we can be self-reliant.
Okay, great. 1 minute. Hello. They just want 10th process on second extension left first house. வந்தோடனே செகண்ட் ரைட் திரும்பி லெஃப்ட்ல ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஹவுஸ். வாங்க வெளில பெல் அடிக்க வாங்கிக்கோங்க. லெஃப்ட்ல ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஹவுஸ். ஆமா, இது என்ன 2 பே போட்டிருக்கா? பெய்டா? அது பெய்டு தான் இல்லையா? சரி, நீங்க லெஃப்ட்ல ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஹவுஸ்ல டெலிவரி பண்ணுங்க. ஓகேயா?
Yes, sir.
குட். வேற என்ன?
அதாவது நிறைய எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் இருக்கும், சார்.
குட் மார்னிங். இந்த டன்ஸோ வந்து வாங்கி வச்சுக்கோ. Tell me, what are the things you saw?
Sir, more employment opportunities, and since it is available in India, India can be more self-reliant.
Great, fine. So lithium is a good thing. Then any other thing you observe?
நிறைய வந்து ஆனா இது கொஞ்சம் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கா இருக்காது, இது கொஞ்சம் அடுத்து, சார்.
இல்ல, what are the various other business developments over the last 1 week, 2 weeks? I'll come back to you.
Okay.
Now, Pooja, you tell me. Pooja, what are the various business developments over the last 2 weeks or so in our country or globally, which is something we observed? Pooja, am I audible to you? Pooja, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Please
I
tell me.
haven't read, sir, father.
You've not done that.
Yes, sir.
Last week you attended my class.
Yes, sir.
I told you, right?
Yes, sir.
To come prepare next week at least. Okay?
Yes, sir. Sorry,
Okay,
sir.
Madhusudan.
Sir, he said lithium, sir. India is also searching for the contracts to extract the lithium against the Europe countries and the US countries, sir. And Ola invested 7,614 crores on electric cars and batteries in Tamil Nadu only, sir.
Excellent. Okay, great. So Ola has invested 7,400 crores. Now, I just wanted to check with all of you, when any of the students speaks, others, you are all able to hear that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Proceed, Madhusudan. Yeah.
That's the news I saw, sir.
Ola has
After
invested 7,400 crores in electric cars. Then,
yeah.
what else? That's all. Only one. There are so many other things you would have seen, probably, no? You saw only this one? Also, then I'm asking you, is there only one or any other thing you saw?
Indigo also ordered 500 Airbus, sir. That's the news I
Okay.
saw last.
So who has ordered Airbus?
Indigo also. You
Indigo.
said Air India about that they are
Yeah,
doing 50,000 Airbus. They
correct.
are now they ordered 500 Airbus, sir. Indigo. Within 5
Oh,
years they wanted to. That will create 5 lakh employment opportunities to middle class workers, sir.
oh, nice to
And
know.
they are seeking the main job from Indian employees only. They want 80% of Indian employees only.
Very good, very good. Excellent. Good, good. Right. Let's, Janish.
Sir, I have not attended the last week class, sir. So,
So did you saw the video of the last class?
yes, sir.
I said in the class, you will have seen the video that you have to come prepared for the session with business developments.
Mm,
Did I say?
yes,
No?
sir.
Then
Yes,
what
sir.
happened?
Yes, sir.
Video பார்த்தேன் கிளாஸ் வரலன்னு சொன்னா எப்படிப்பா வீடியோ பார்த்தேன் இல்லையா பார்த்தேன்ல அதுல சொல்லிருக்கேன் இல்லையா வீடியோல இருந்ததா இல்லையா
வீடியோ நான் இன்னும் பார்க்கல சார். பார்க்கணும்.
போன வார கிளாஸ் ஒன்றும் பார்க்கலையா
இல்லை சார்.
ஸோ இனிமேல் நான் ஒரு நாள் தான் வைக்க போறேன் வீடியோ ஏன்னா மற்ற அகாடமிலாம் அப்படிதான் பண்றாங்க ஒரு நாள் தான் வீடியோ அவைலபிள் அப்புறம் கிடையாது கிளாஸ் வராதவங்களுக்கு போன வாரம் அடுத்து இன்னும் பார்க்கலையப்பா நீ பாருப்பா ப்ளீஸ் ஓகே
ஓகே சார்.
பூபேஷ்
சார்
பூபேஷ் என்ன பிசினஸ் டெவலப்மெண்ட் ஓவர் த லாஸ்ட் 1 or 2 weeks
ஆமா ஆமா சார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இதை பத்தி சொன்னீங்கல்ல சொல்லணும்னு சொன்னீங்க
எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்லு என்ன பார்த்த
சார் எப்படி சார் நம்ம இடத்துல இருந்து ஆக்சுவலா நிறைய ரா மெட்டீரியல்ஸை எடுத்துட்டு ஈவன் தோ கார்ஸ் ஆக்சுவலி கார்ஸ் வந்து
தப்பு 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 ஒழுங்கா ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ண நீ ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணிட்டு வா அடுத்த கிளாஸ் ஏதாவது சொல்லி தப்பு தப்பு okay so I want all of you to go through the business newspaper keep yourself updated about business developments in every class we'll discuss this is important for the subject strategic management because this is a very practical and live subject it is not theory just mug up பண்ணி எழுதுறது கிடையாது key points and phrases கண்டிப்பா முக்கியம் இல்லைன்னு சொல்ல but at the same time you need to know then only you'll get a picture of what we are discussing in the days to come. We are going to discuss about various business, conglomerate business. We are going to discuss about horizontal integration. We are going to discuss about vertical integration. அதெல்லாம் நம்ம relate பண்ண முடியும். Relate to reality. My teaching philosophy itself is what? What is the teaching philosophy I adopt? Relate to whatever you learn, you should be able to relate to reality. That is when your learning is complete. So for this purpose only, you need to, from என்னெல்லாம் discuss பண்றோம், we discussed about the value chain, we discussed about primary activities, we discussed about support activities, we discussed about TQM. All this you'll be able to appreciate better when you actually see the practical, like, development of the business world. So you'll be able to relate it better. நான் என்னெல்லாம் இந்த தியரியா உங்களுக்கு எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணணும் அதை போய் நீங்க ரிலேட் பண்ணா அப்புறம் ஈஸியா உங்களுக்கு புரியும் எக்ஸாம்லயும் நல்லா எழுதி மார்க் வாங்கலாம் ஓகே எவ்ரி சப்ஜெக்ட் திஸ் இஸ் வெரி வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் ஆல் த மோர் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் ஃபார் திஸ் சப்ஜெக்ட் ஓகே லெட்ஸ் ப்ரொசீட் நவ் ஃபர்தர் sustainability of competitive advantage. How can you sustain competitive advantage? That is for the long term. Okay. In competitive advantage, it depends upon 4 major characteristics of resources and capital. One is durability. Durability, the period over which a competitive advantage is sustained depends in part on the rate at which a firm's resources and capabilities deteriorate. That is, it falls down. So, your durability is an important factor. Your competitive advantage should be for a longer period. Your competitive advantage should not be just for a short term. It should be for a longer term. And it should be sustained for a longer term. Okay, that is what we refer to as durability. Then transferability. Even if the resources and capabilities on which a competitive advantage is based are durable, it is likely to be eroded by competition from rivals. And the easier it is to transfer resources and capabilities between companies, the less sustainable will be the competitive advantage which is based on them. So you need to ensure that the resources and capabilities should not be transferable between companies. Then your competitive advantage will be lost. Last week I read a news that a top IT company, one of its senior most directors or somebody, that person was paid a bonus of around some $4 lakh or whatever it is. And the condition was that particular person should not leave the company. That was the purpose of giving a bonus. But that particular person resigned and left the company, and this company has filed a case against that particular employee, saying that you are given this bonus to ensure that you don't move out to competitor, but you are moved out to your competitor, so you have to repay the bonus back. So that is the issue we are facing. So திடீர்னு உங்களுடைய ஒரு டெக்னிக்கல் ஆஸ்பெக்ட் தெரிஞ்ச ஒரு எம்ப்ளாயி காம்படிட்டர் போயிட்டாருன்னா உங்களோட காம்படிட்டிவ் அட்வான்டேஜ் அங்க போயிடும். கரெக்டா? So we have to manage that better. Then imitability. If resources and capabilities cannot be purchased by a would-be imitator, then they must be built from scratch. So your competitor should not be able to imitate you. உங்களை இமிட்டேட் பண்ண முடியல அப்படின்னா ரைட் ஃப்ரம் பிகினிங் தே ஹேவ் டு டூ எவ்ரிதிங். இப்போ நம்ம ஜிசிசி அகாடமி இருக்குன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன், ஜிசிசி அகாடமியை இமிட்டேட் பண்றது கஷ்டம். ஏன்னா வி ஹேவ் அவர் ஓன் யூஎஸ்பின்னு சொல்லுவோம், யூனிக் செல்லிங் ப்ரொபோசிஷன் அண்ட் காம்படிட்டிவ் அட்வான்டேஜ். நம்மளுடைய காம்படிட்டிவ் அட்வான்டேஜ் என்ன நம்ம அகாடமியில? Nobody should be able to imitate you. நம்மளுடைய காம்படிட்டிவ் அட்வான்டேஜ் என்ன in your view?
Individual attention, sir.
Individual attention, exactly. Fine. Individual attention. அப்புறம் இது எல்லாராலையும் பண்ண முடியாது. Second,
Definitely apps, sir.
app. So mobile app technology we are using, which is very difficult to imitate by others. In fact, many institutes are not offering this at all. You know that. Not as effective we are offering. We are number one. Number app-based learning is number one. 2020 le ஆரம்பிச்சாச்சு நம்ம. We are the first to launch our app. Correct? So good. That is our competitive advantage. Nobody can come near us. Third.
Test series, sir.
Correct. Test series. We are one of the most, we are number one on top as far as test series and feedback is concerned. Nobody conducts test series like what we do. So individual attention, your technology driven learning app, and also test series and feedback, and above all, quality education, what we offer. See, the quality education and guidance and mentoring what we offer, we are very unique in that. So that is where we have our competitive advantage. So it is very difficult for someone to imitate it. That's the point. So if you have a competitive advantage and if nobody is able to imitate it, then you are going to be successful. Then appropriability. Appropriability refers to ability of the firm's owners to appropriate the returns on its resource. ROI in சொல்றோம் இல்லையா? Even where resources and capabilities are capable of offering sustainable advantage, there is an issue as to who receives the return on these resources. So you should be able to appropriate the returns properly to the resource base, and that will give you an advantage. It will give you an advantage. Clear? Any doubts?
No doubt, sir.
Okay, so what we have done so far is we have covered, just a minute. One minute. Just give me a minute. I think we are almost done with the topic. I'll confirm you. Yeah, we are almost done with this topic. So before we proceed to the next topic, Let me know if you got any doubts so that we can move on to the next topic.
No, no, sir.
Okay, let me take up the next lesson. You're going to take up next lesson, strategic management process. So let's move on to the next lesson, strategic management process. Okay, I'll share the slides. Confirm if you're able to see the screen. Okay,
Yes, sir. We can see the PPT, sir.
you're able to see it?
Yes, sir.
The strategic management process, are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So we are going to discuss a lot of interesting aspects in this lesson. We are going to understand about what is strategic planning. Under that, how to understand strategic decision making, strategic intent, strategic management model, and strategic formulation. So the strategic planning involves 4 important areas: decision making, intent, management model, and formulation. And the strategic intent has various aspects in it: vision, mission, business definition, business model, goals and objectives. So whenever we are talking of strategic planning, we are going to understand all of this in detail as we progress. Let's first take up the introduction for this lesson. What is the strategic management process? What is the process, first of all? How do you understand the process? What is, first of all, a process?
It is a way that how things should be done.
It's a way in which things to be done. Okay. So a process is a set of actions which offers you an outcome, correct? A process is a set of action which offers you an outcome. Now, the manufacturing process in சொல்லலாம் இல்லையா? Manufacturing process and how do you produce a product? What are the processes involved in producing a product is referred to as what? Manufacturing process. Similarly, a process is a set of actions which is going to give us a desired result and output. Now, our classes, our way of, our model of teaching, coaching, test, whatever we discussed just now, these are all set of actions and which is going to give us a desired result of passing in an exam. So it's a process. So if you do all the set of actions only, you will pass the exam. In fact, to be honest with you, if you all cooperate and do whatever I expect from you, like attending class, writing tests and all that properly, I can assure you, you will pass the exam. Why? Because the set of actions are going to ensure that you get the desired outcome. That is what we normally refer to as a process. It will not go wrong. But if you don't do the requisite actions, you may not get the desired result. So you are studying well, probably, but you are not writing a test. Then what happens? You may not get the desired result. Correct? Do you agree? Or you're studying well and writing a test, but probably you are not focusing on it at the end of the exam or closer to the exam or during the exam, whatever, for example, I'm saying, then you will not get the desired outcome. So same thing happens in case of a strategic management process. A strategic management process is a process which is a set of actions where it is going to give you the desired results. Okay, so let's proceed forward. It's a process of strategic planning that culminates in the formulation of a corporate strategy. So you need to first of all start with your planning, and that eventually enables you to formulate your strategies. And the strength of the entire process of strategic planning is tested by efficiency of the strategy, finally forged by the firm. So your efficiency of your plan is tested with efficacy of the strategy finally forged by the firm. That is how far it is effective in giving you the desired outcome. So you need to have a right plan, strategic planning to get the desired output. The ultimate question is whether the strategy formulated is the appropriate one. That is whether it will take the firm to its objectives. So you need to decide whether your objectives and strategies are appropriate for your business. And corporate strategy is a game plan that actually steers the firm towards success. So if you have a proper corporate strategy, it will definitely steer you to success. And the degree of aptness of this game plan decides the extent of the firm's success. So if you're able to decide on your game plan properly, definitely it will enable you to achieve success and the extent of the firm's success. Now, a lot of companies are doing this well. They have right strategies, expansion strategy, diversification strategy, acquisition strategies. So if you want to expand your business, you have an option to introduce new products. Like just now an example, you were talking about Ola is entering into electric cars. It's an expansion. The corporate strategy is growth through expansion. And we also saw that recently Renault, they have signed a contract with government of Tamil Nadu where they are going to come up with another additional capacity for producing whatever. So 5,000 crores they are going to invest in Tamil Nadu. So that is the strategy of growth. So every business should have right corporate strategies in order to enable them to grow in the business. That is the strategic management process, starting with the planning, offers you that what benefit of succeeding in your business. Okay. Moving on, strategic planning means deciding what needs to be done in the future and generating blueprint for action. So what are you going to do in the future and how are you going to act? Blueprint nale enartham. It's a plan. So you need to do like this, or a broader plan that is called a blueprint. And a good planning is an important constituent of good management, obviously. Normally planning is so important, and you all know that generally in management planning is very important. Planning offers you an opportunity to achieve whatever you want to. Correct? So normally planning may not offer you a success, but if you don't plan, it can offer you or it can definitely result in a failure. A plan may not definitely result in a success, but sometimes if you don't plan, it may result in a failure or most of the time. So planning is so important that you plan well and do well, then you can achieve success in your strategies and business. It bridges the gap between where we are to where we want to go. One of the best way to understand planning is it bridges the gap between where you are to where you want to go. And planning is future oriented in nature. You agree? Planning is more what? Future oriented. So what is your plan of studies? If I ask you, what will be your answer? How do you plan to study for your exams? So most of you are going to write for June, May, June. So May, June, என்ன plan பண்ணிருக்கீங்க? How are you planning to study? Just as an example.
So ஒரு நாளைக்கு 8 hours யூனிவர்சிட்டி படிக்கணும். கொஞ்சம் லைக் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜிக்கா படிக்கணும். லைக் சொல்றது ஈஸியா மார்க்ஸ் ஸ்கோரிங் அண்ட் வந்து நிறைய வெயிட்டேஜ் இருக்கிற சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸ், நிறைய டாபிக்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரி வந்து படிக்கணும் சார். அந்த மாதிரி ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணி படிக்கணும்.
Okay, fine. So you need to identify the subjects, you need to identify the topics, you need to know what to study first, what to study next, you need to plan. Okay, now on the all subjects simultaneously cover pandrengra plan, or some of you may still, though I don't recommend it. You may feel that I first finish off this subject, I'll go to the next subject like that. So this is broadly a plan. So when you're planning to study for the next 4 months in this way, and you try to cover all your syllabus, and you are ready to go for the exams, and that means you're going to do well in exams. So similarly, in a business, the strategic planning is very much important. How do I create strategies for my future growth? Because don't forget the fact, if you are CEO of the company or MD of the company, you need to have a plan for growth of the company. That is why you are sitting in the position. That is why you are sitting in that position. 1 minute. No? No. Yeah. 5 minutes. Hey, Varsul. Okay. So if you are able to create right strategies for the business as a CEO or MD of the company, that means what? You need to have a clear-cut vision, mission, and all that objectives. இந்த வருஷத்துல நம்ம என்ன பண்ண போறோம், செகண்ட் இயர்ல என்ன பண்ண போறோம், தேர்ட் இயர்ல என்ன பண்ண போறோம், ஃபோர்த் இயர்ல என்ன பண்ண போறோம் அப்படிங்கறத பிளானிங் இது. So you need to look at future because not all your activities are oriented towards this year. It is going to impact your business in the longer run. So a lot of businesses are succeeding because they have a futuristic plan. So that is what we refer to as strategic planning. Are you able to follow me? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So moving on. There are two types of planning. One is called strategic planning. Strategic planning is more to do with broader outlook of how you want to go about it. And operational planning is more of a narrower outlook in the sense, how do I operate it? How do I operate my strategies? So that is what we normally refer to as operational planning. Okay. Characteristics of a strategic planning. It shapes the organization and its resources. So when you're able to plan, when you're going to have right strategies for your business, it will shape your organization and its resources. And it assesses the impact of environmental variables. Now, for example, let us say globally there is a bit of a recession. So if you have got a right strategic plan, you'll be able to analyze that and assess it and determine how to handle it. So your strategic planning should allow you to handle a scenario like a recession or any other issue. Takes a holistic view of the organization. As strategic planning doesn't stop with one department, doesn't stop with one division. It takes into consideration the entire business. So if Tatas are going to do a planning, they have to do a plan for 500 businesses in which they operate. Correct? So imagine the manner in which they have to develop plans for individual companies, individual groups, products, etc. So you need to take a holistic view. Develop overall objectives and strategies. So the business, don't narrow it down to one department or division. Have an overall objective for the entire business. It is concerned with long-term success of the organization. So always strategic planning doesn't focus on short-term success, but focuses on long-term success. And it's a senior management responsibility. Normally, your strategic planning is more to do with senior management. They are the people who try to evolve a plan for a business. Whereas operational planning is more done with the junior level or middle level. Not junior means not exactly the junior level position, but down the line. So characteristics of operational planning means what? It deals with current deployment of resources. So strategic planning is more futuristic, whereas operational planning is more for the current period. And it develops tactics rather than strategy. Tactics and strategy are slightly different. Tactical னு சொல்றோம் இல்லையா? Tactical-ஆ இருக்கணும் business-ல. எப்படி tactical-ஆ இருக்கிறது? இப்போ உங்க ப்ராடக்ட் வந்து ஒரு ஷாப்ல அவைலபிள் இல்ல, உங்க காம்படிட்டர் ப்ராடக்ட் அவைலபிளா இருக்கு அப்படின்னா you need to bring out some tactics to make sure your product is available to the customer. So நீங்க ஒரு ஓன் அவுட்லெட்டை கூட அங்க போட்டுடலாம். அது ஒரு டாக்டிக். ஏன்னா ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் அந்த ஷாப்ல என்ன பண்றாங்கன்னா உங்களோட ப்ராடக்ட்டை கொண்டு வர மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. ஏன்னா அவங்க காம்படிட்டர் ப்ராடக்ட் ஆல்ரெடி ப்ரமோட் பண்றாங்க. உங்க ப்ராடக்ட் அவங்க செல் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. அப்ப நீங்க என்ன பண்ணலாம்? நீங்களே ஒரு ஸ்மால் அவுட்லெட் அங்க போடலாம். I'm just giving you as an option. So this is more of a tactic. Projects current operations into future and makes modification to the business functions, but not fundamental changes. So when you're going to have operational planning, it makes relevant modification to the business functions in சொல்றோம் இல்லையா? Various functions, finance function, HR function, production functions, and it is addressing all those functions, but doesn't make any fundamental change. And it is the responsibility of the functional managers to build up an operational plan. All of you are clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so make a note. We are stopping here with slide number 5. The rest of the topics aspects are covered in the next class. some of you note it down so that it becomes easy for it to maintain the continuity. So my request to all of you, completed topics, go through that in your study material. And I'll ask questions on that also in the next class. And also come prepared for the next class wherein you need to share with me what did you observe as business development over the last 1 week or 2 weeks. And all this is part of your syllabus. Definitely it is relevant for exam also. So kindly cooperate and do that exercise. The next week class schedule remains the same. So I'll meet you all tomorrow. You have a GST class at 10 o'clock. So those who are attending GST class, kindly attend that. And I'll catch up with you all tomorrow. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
சார் சின்ன ஹெல்ப் சார்.
Sorry.
சார் சின்ன ஹெல்ப் சார். சார் இந்த பிபிடி மட்டும் முடிச்ச வரைக்கும் மட்டும்.
முடிச்சப்புறம் அனுப்புவோம்.
சரி ஓகே.
I'll send you. Don't worry. Yeah, definitely. எல்லாம் கன்சால்டேட் பண்ணி நான் அனுப்புறோம்.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே. தேங்க்யூ சார்.
Okay, good. Yeah.
தேங்க்யூ சார்.
Okay, bye.